In this video, we are going to talk about another dividing technique, which is called synthetic division. This method would only work if the divisor is in the form x minus c, where c is a constant. Now, technically, it could work for x plus a constant as well, because remember, we can always rewrite an addition as a subtraction and vice versa. So I have this example down here. Divide negative 2x plus 4x cubed plus 18 plus x to the fourth by x plus 2 by using synthetic division. We're going to follow the 3 steps to try to solve that example. Step 1, rearrange terms so that the exponents are in descending order. Insert a missing term with coefficient equals 0 if needed. So rearranging the terms, I should have x to the fourth written first, plus 4x cubed. An x squared term is missing, so I'm going to write plus x 0x squared, and then minus 2x plus 18, and that is divided by x plus 2. Step 2, list coefficients and c. C is the c constant in the divisor x minus c. To calculate c, all you have to do is let that divisor equal 0 and then solve for x. So here, in this case, we're going to add c to both sides. So we have x is equal to c. In this method, we are actually going to work with coefficients and not variables. So we are going to list all the coefficients. So here we have a's of 1, a's of 2, leave a little space in between the coefficients. And then we're going to draw a box that looks like this. And the c number in the divisor is going to go on this side of the box. So we're going to do a similar thing in our example. Coefficients are, coefficient of x to the fourth is 1, so we write 1, then 4, 0, negative 2, 18. Now to calculate the c number, you're going to let that divisor x plus 2 be 0. Subtract 2 from both sides, you get x is equal to negative 2. Well, that makes sense because you can always rewrite this x plus 2 as x minus a negative 2. So then it'll be in the format of x minus c in the definition. So as you can see, c here is negative 2. Step 3, bring down the first coefficient. So the first coefficient is 1, which we are just going to bring it down. And then repeat the process of multiplying and adding until you run out of numbers. So let me explain what that means. So multiply, we want to take the number that we just brought down here, multiply by this c number. So 1 times negative 2 gives you negative 2, which we're going to put it right here, right underneath the next number. So that is the multiplication process. Now adding, we're going to do 4 plus a negative 2, which will give you 2. And we're going to repeat it until we run out of numbers, which means we're going to, until we get to the end here. So again, we multiply, take 2, multiply by negative 2, so that's negative 4, put right there, and then we add. So 0 plus a negative 4 is negative 4. Next, negative 4 times negative 2, so that's 8. And then negative 2 plus 8 gives you positive 6. Again, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then 18 minus 12 will give us 6. Now we run out of number. That's when we stop. So how do we determine the quotient and the remainder? So I can tell you that this last constant here is the remainder always. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's different from 0. The quotient is actually right here without the variables. So remember, our dividend started with x to the fourth power as the highest degree. After it's dividing by a linear term, which has a degree of 1, we should be left with the degree of 3. Think about it. X to the 4th divided by x gives you x cubed. So with that said, you're going to use these four numbers, 1, 2, -4, and 6 as the coefficients. So start with x cubed, which is 1 degree less than the dividend, then x squared, and then x, and then 6. So the quotient is x cubed plus 2x squared minus 4x plus 6, with the remainder equals 6. Now we are going to check our answer. To check, we want to see if the dividend, we don't have to write the 0, is equal to the divisor, which is x plus 2, times the quotient, and plus the remainder. So let's distribute. Distribute the left side. So we have x times x to the x cubed is x to the 4th. X times 2x squared is plus 2x cubed. X times 4x is minus 4x squared. And then x times 6 is plus 6x. And then now we're going to distribute the 2. So we have 2 times x cubed. I'm going to move this over here so we have more room. So 2 times x cubed is plus 2x cubed. 2 times 2x squared is plus 4x squared. 2 times -4x is minus 8x. And 2 times 6 is plus 12. And then finally, we have that remainder plus 6 at the end. Now we're combining like terms. There's only one x to the 4th power. They are 2 x cubed terms. So 2x cubed plus 2x cubed is 4x cubed. And then we have -4x squared and positive 4x squared should cancel. And then we have 6x minus 8x, that's -2x. And then finally 12 plus 6 gives you 18. So as you notice, this polynomial that we just obtained looked exactly like the dividend that was given to us. That means we got the correct answer.